You probably donated something at some point in your life, maybe used clothes or old toys.
Have you ever wondered what happened after you gave them away? Well, Dan Cassuto did.
Dan, you've been following the journey of one suit for a long time.
Hey, Dennis and Amanda. Yeah, very long time. I got the idea last summer. I saw an ad for a clothing drive at Men's Warehouse. They wanted people to donate their old suits, so I was so curious, who gets those? The store agreed to let me inside, pick one suit, and follow the journey.
Yeah, I didn't want to throw it out. It's been hanging in my closet for years.
The journey begins in downtown Seattle.
So I have a nice suit here.
With a man named Mike Cummings.
I bought this suit here 20 years ago.
It's a charcoal gray 42 regular.
I just wanted to bring it in and benefit somebody else because it benefited me over the years.
Yeah, these are all from today and yesterday.
People like Mike donate 250,000 suits every year.
That's nice.
They get passed on to United Ways, Goodwills, churches, and homeless shelters.
Didn't want to throw it out.
Light brown, taupe, black. I mean, you got pretty much anything you can imagine.
If you're looking for a job, your budget's tight.
It comes around in full circle.
A great thing to do to have somebody just say, here, this helped me out.
That's why they call it the suit karma.
Who do you hope gets it?
A young man, maybe fresh out of college. It's hard for college grads to find work these days, and their budget's so tight.
And I need like 5 more credits to get my my degree.
Keith Whiteman is soon to be fresh out of college.
Yeah.
He's also soon to be fresh out of prison.
This is the living room, the family room, the bedroom, the bathroom.
We met Keith in his cell, E-Block, at Coyote Ridge Correction Center in eastern Washington. Keith is serving 3.5 years. I looked up your criminal history a little bit.
Yeah.
It's long?
Yeah, it's detailed.
How many felonies?
I don't know, man.
Keith stole people's wallets, then their identities.
Spent people's money, you know, used people's credit.
He told me there were dozens of victims.
It tears me up to try to think about how many people.
You're in prison because you stole from a lot of people, and here's a stranger giving something to you.
That's awesome, you know. I think that people can forgive still.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Forgiveness begins with Mike Cummings' old suit. Makes its escape from downtown Seattle and travels to a warehouse in Puyallup.
For the last 4 or 5 years,
This is outstanding, man.
we've benefited from this annual suit drive.
Wow. Volunteers pile enough donated Brooks Brothers, Calvin Klein's, Ralph Lauren's for the likes of Keith Whiteman.
Have you ever been inside a cell like this? You guys should shut the door and get the real feeling of what that sounds like.
Keith earned his associate's degree in social work in prison. He hopes the suit will help him accomplish even more. Here, it makes a rendezvous with its getaway ride.
We go to the warehouse a couple times during the suit drive and pick up 200-300 suits, as many as we can get into a van or a car.
Ari Cohn is head of a nonprofit called the Post-Prison Education Program. He helps prisoners rebuild their lives from the Seattle Central Building. Room 241. There are hundreds of nice suits here, but this is no Men's Warehouse. This is the warehouse of second chances. Navy blues and charcoal grays, destined for drug dealers and thieves.
You come out of prison, you're completely disempowered, you're beat down.
I don't want the first thing someone thinks when they see me is, you know, that the guy's an ex-convict.
More than anything, it has to do with self-esteem.
I like to present myself like a professional person, you know.
So something that puts you in a really positive frame of mind is nice.
At this time tomorrow, you will be a free man. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Flotney 500.
I probably won't sleep tonight. So.
The next morning, most of us are starting a new work week. Keith is starting a new life.
I'm happy, man.
There he is.
I'm happy that I don't ever have to come back to a place like this again. And if somebody donating a suit is going to help me do that.
Ari Cohn and his team woke up at 4 in the morning to welcome Keith to the free world.
I'm super grateful for that.
Keith Whiteman is walking into room 241 with $40 in his pocket.
Wow.
He's about to walk out with an old, new 42 regular.
I think it's a 42. Try the coat on.
I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to say, you know, you're really helping me.
That works.
You can't put a price on it, actually. All right, there, now, that's a better style.
1, 2, 3. It's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that picture to your mother. She'd be proud of that.
His mom won't need a picture of the suit. Keith is going to show her, along with the rest of his family. He hasn't seen his mom since he went to prison. Keith has done this homecoming dance 5 times already. He's been set free, made promises, made amends, only to goof up, mess up, and get locked up.
We never have to do this again.
What he has to do is stay in clean and sober environments, positive environments,
We need to get you into some classes.
and stay away from stupid people doing stupid things.
A good place for Keith to find smart people doing smart things is college.
Bachelor of Arts in Social Welfare.
He's enrolling at Pierce Community College and applying for a work-study job.
I'm so glad.
He's been here before. This is his old advisor. Last time, he goofed up and got locked up.
All right.
You know, the goal is to, number one, have them not return to prison, to build lives worth living.
You look good.
So do you. Nice suit.
Just straight up honest, I hope he will, and I think he will. If I had to bet, I would bet in favor of him making it.
Yeah.
But we just got to get you into the right place.
It feels like a new beginning.
4 months after donating his suit, I brought Mike Cummings a video to show him who's wearing his 42 regular now.
Okay. So your suit went to a guy in prison.
Okay, that's actually a good thing.
A good thing because it turns out Mike knows a thing or two about prison.
That's my dad.
When he was growing up in New York, his mom and dad volunteered to help people getting out of prison.
That's the building we lived in, yes.
Just like Keith Whiteman. They found them a job and even a bed.
Crazy.
We had a 3-bedroom apartment. I shared my room with the guy.
30 years later, from sharing a room to sharing a suit.
Yeah, it kind of comes full circle.
You know what? I know that there's a purpose in my life.
The accident was unbelievable, but I'm not really sure who to feel sorry for. The 22 million honeybees that met their demise, or the officials who had to be there.
I think we're going to make this quick and get out of here.
The bees were packed into hundreds of hives, loaded on the back of a semi-truck owned by Belleville Honey. They were making a beeline up north when their truck toppled over on I-5 near Linwood. Firefighters spent hours dousing the bees with water and foam, calming them, and eventually killing them. And the bees were just trying to commute to work. How close can we get?
We can get fairly close. Get that cool? Look at them all working.
Some of the bees from the accident were supposed to work in the blueberry fields of Whatcom County.
Each of these individual flowers on here, and each one of these has to be visited by a bee several times.
Enfield Farms rents bees. Most farmers do. It's the only way to pollinate a county's worth of fruits and veggies.
Without honeybees, farming as we do it does not work.
If you think I'm getting any closer to all those bees, well, you are crazy. They are in the middle of a Northwest road trip. They start with the almond crop in California, then on to the apples in eastern Washington, the blueberries and raspberries here in western Washington, and they'll end up with the canola seeds in Montana. Some farmers say you should thank a honeybee every time you take a bite.
Elsewhere in the area, there's other crops that I'm not as familiar with, mostly seed crops.
Whoa. Is he still on me?
Yeah, he's watching you. Just calm down. They can sense it when you're... You'll get out of here.
But I've never heard anyone say you should thank a honeybee if it tries to take a bite of you.
Very active and very happy and extroverted when she was young.
Robin Bosch came from a good family in Gig Harbor.
She was social, she was happy.
Her mom, Christina, is a fire station manager.
Yeah.
Her dad, Robert, is a paramedic.
If she could just see what we see in her.
It was the fall of 2012. Robin was 21.
She would come home, ask for money. we would say no, she would explode.
She was working at this restaurant drive-thru in Bremerton when her boyfriend suggested she try heroin. Her dad found her passed out in the woods.
Don't bite me.
He recorded this video when he and other paramedics were trying to take her to the hospital.
She came home the next day and then wrote her long letter and disappeared. The phrase was, "I want the black." She was choosing the heroin over family and everything else.
Robert and Christina didn't know at the time, but Robin had run off to Portland. The heroin, it seems, is cheaper and stronger here.
We didn't know exactly where she was at.
A lot of anxiety.
Months went by. Robin wouldn't talk to her parents.
I got a private Facebook message from somebody that I had no idea who he was, that said he knew her, and we went back and forth a couple of times privately messaging each other, and I finally had to ask how he knew my daughter.
I met her on Craigslist.
Either he had answered an ad or she had answered a Craigslist ad for money for sex.
We agreed upon a price, and she came out and she spent the night, and things did move on past that.
His name's Ron Morse. I tracked him down on the shabby outskirts of Portland.
She was going down pretty quick.
Now more than 2 years since he first met and hired Robin on Craigslist.
I said, look, you don't know me, and I know your daughter, and she needs your help.
But for some reason, felt that he needed to help this girl.
I've done a lot of bad things in my life. I saw somebody that I saw that she's got so much potential.
Who would probably kill herself if this went on much longer.
Yeah, I don't know, it just seemed like the right thing to do.
That was our only connection to her.
He was the only link that knew where, that parts of town where she was at. So we had to meet him.
Very, very nice to me under the conditions.
As a dad, I wanted to literally throttle this John.
Across the freeway, you got to go down this secret little, ramp.
Robert couldn't throttle this John, at least not yet. This John knew where to find his daughter. At night, she was living in a homeless camp under the Burnside Bridge.
And that's where I heard she was.
By day, she was begging for money in the heart of downtown Portland, Pioneer Courthouse Square.
I found her. Her mom and dad went to meet her.
It's July 2013. Robin is 22, homeless, hooked on heroin, dirty, and dangerous.
It's time to bring her home, so I'm going to go get my girl. Probably not the best approach.
And Robin socked her mom in the eye.
Before I knew it, here comes a punch right to the face.
They're like, "You want to press charges against your daughter?" Yes, absolutely.
Got arrested right after that. But he got them back together.
Whatever it took, we had to get her off of the streets.
Robin spent 7 months in jail. When she got out, she went right back to the streets of Portland. Heroin owned her.
Jail was the best option.
Robin's parents checked jail websites every day to see if she was picked up. She was.
This is our Robin. This is the bright and beautiful young woman right here.
Her mugshots became the family album.
And then this one, a year later, she's somebody that's in trouble. It's like she's just lost everything. She's got sores on her face. I see my daughter trying to kill herself.
I overdosed 3 times when I was in Portland. I wanted to die. I looked for death, but God wouldn't let me.
This is Robin Bosch today.
Hi there.
She's 24.
I went to a hospital detox.
3 years after shooting up for the first time and overdosing 3 times, Robin is back in Washington getting help.
It finally got to the point where I couldn't take who I was on drugs anymore. I was mean. I was hurtful.
Robin says she was ready for help after living almost 2 years on the streets of Portland. She came back home in January. She said she was ready, but she wasn't.
It's really hard to do.
For the first half of this year, she bounced between rehab and relapse.
Well, my sober date is July 19th, so. Yeah.
This time, she says it's for real.
What kind of things are you doing?
Well, I've got group. I've got a sponsor.
It's cool to watch you.
She bikes to outpatient treatment 3 days a week. She spends afternoons volunteering at a mission in downtown Bremerton.
I'm still at the very beginning. I have a long way to go. It's not easy.
She has to forgive herself. We're still afraid. It can crash at any moment. We know that. We have our daughter back.
Happy family.
It's been a very slow, long process, but she's laughing.